Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Cat again. I had this old piece of leather just sitting around for years, and I was going to make a bracelet out of it, and I never did it. It was a little bit bigger piece, not much. And I decided to make a junk journal out of it. So I had two pieces, and this flap that I stitched on was hanging off at a weird angle, but it had this cut already in it that was like a buttonhole. And so I wanted to use it as the clasp for the journal. So I just stitched it on. I don't know if you can see. There's the flap. You can see it right there. Just stitched it all the way across here. I got this little kit from Amazon, and I'll link that below. That has like the awl and the needles and everything that goes with it. There was even this really nice like waxed cording that came with it. And so I used that there, and I also used it for the two signatures. So there's two signatures there. And then I used a ceramic heart-shaped button, and I've had these for years. I got them at a craft fair, and I never did know what to do with them, but I guess those opportunities arise, and that's why we hoard our stuff. So anyway, I think it turned out cute on the front, and I did leave it a little bit loose because I wanted to be able to add stuff to it, and so it might look a little floppy right now, but I think once it's all done, it'll be fuller. Okay, so it just unbuttons from here, and see there was like a natural cut in it, and I don't know when they were tanning it or whatever happened, but that's that. So you open it up, and I found this old magazine from like 1973, and it was like a Western magazine, so it had all kinds of Western pictures and stuff. So that's what I used through most of this journal. And then this is some paper tape that I made, and I'll show you when we're all done here how I made it. And I'm sure other people have done stuff like it. I just don't know. So, but I'll just show you in case you're interested in making some and you don't want to go search down a video for it. So there's a little pocket right here, and I found these pads of paper, and I can't remember where. I apologize, but they came in like a whole stack like this, and there's a bunch of them. I think it was like Target or even Walmart or someplace like that where I found these. I think you can find a lot of this stuff right now because school has started or is starting soon. And so I just pulled, like I would go 3 pages or whatever, and I would pull it off, and they'll still kind of stick together that way, but I wasn't really worried about that. I just wanted something in here so that the person who uses it could use these to take a few notes. So I just attached that to that old magazine paper. And then here's some coffee dyed paper that I made. It's hard for me to turn the pages when it's up like that. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Oops. Okay. And just some coffee dyed lined paper that I trimmed down to size. More regular paper. This paper is from a composition notebook that I found that's like that kid lined paper, so the lines are wider, and then up at the top there's a big drawing area. I left part of it up here, but I mostly wanted the lines. I have somebody in mind for this book, so I just wanted her to be able to do a lot of writing. More lined paper, and then here's another one of the magazine pages, and I put some colored paper here. This is more of that paper tape that I made, and then just a little leaf page and some more of that lined tablet. And then these are 2 of the pictures that were in that old Western magazine. I just thought they were really cool. This one says Ella Watson Averill, first woman lynched in Wyoming. I just thought that was cool. I mean, not cool for her, I guess, but it's just a neat picture and interesting. And lined paper, more of the kid lined paper. I think they call it kindergarten K through 1 kiddie writing paper or something like that. But you can get the composition notebooks right now around because school is starting. I don't know if you'll still be able to get them later or not, but I just coffee dyed them and put them in. And then here's another one of the pages. I only put decorations on the Western like magazine pages because, again, like I said, I want the person who gets this to be able to write mostly in it, so I only wanted to put decorations on these pages because there were some that were kind of plain. See, this is just all the article, and so that's kind of boring. So I put this strip of paper here and like a belly band, and then I stitched, I don't know if you can see, but there's a piece of lace and then a piece of fabric and then the stitching all the way down. And this is Tim Holtz wallpaper in the very back here. So that's what that is. Okay, and then there's more of that magazine paper. And then this came out of the magazine too. I loved these horses. I thought that was really neat with the cowboy in the lead, leading the horses. And it says crossing a hardened snowfall. So, and then I took a piece of paper that I had and just stitched it on there, inked it up. And I did ink edges. And this paper is so thin on these magazines that I backed this. You can kind of see it sticking out here with some of that craft paper that comes on a roll. And there's just those old, I can't even remember what these were called. If anybody knows, you can put it in the comments, but they're like that handmade paper. Tag in there. And it was all the rage for a while, and for some reason I just can't remember what it's called. Just more coffee stained papers of various kinds. This is like I think this is Alaska. This man's on a sled and the dogs are pulling it. Turn it this way. See, he's right there and then the dogs are pulling it. It's just kind of a cool picture. And this one I just put a piece of the paper tape I made right here. And then this is Alaska as well. And that's the middle of the signature. I didn't do a lot of pockets and stuff. I mean, I did do some, but I didn't decorate it a whole bunch because, again, like I said, the person who gets this, I just want them to be able to write and decorate it or do whatever they want with it. There's Annie Oakley. Thought that was kind of a cool picture. And more coffee stained papers. And then there's a cowboy, and there's a piece of the paper tape again, and then just some more of these little tags. And then back here, this is an old, some kind of comment card, like almost for school or something. It's date, subject, maybe library type card. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. But this was on here like this. I just cut it off so that it would fit and make a pocket, and then I used this as a tag. I didn't do anything on the back. But somebody can write here, and I just stitched a piece of fabric to the top with the sewing machine. And I did it on the back like that because I didn't want to cover this comments word. And that just signs in there, and there's like an old railway sign or something, advertisement. And this is just fabric, and it's stitched right down there. And so you can kind of see where the stitching is on that. So that just closes back up with the big button and the buttonhole. It's a little bit tricky because, you know, leathers, I mean, this is pretty supple leather, but it's still a little bit stiff, so it's a little bit different than regular fabric. And then this button doesn't help because it's got the lumps and bumps, but I think it looks really cute once it's all put together like that. Okay, so that paper tape, and again, like I said, I am sure, positive, that there's somebody who has probably done this, but in case you don't know about it and you're interested, you buy this paper tape from Band-Aid or whatever brand you can find. It's really papery though. You have to make sure it's the paper tape and not a different kind that is slick on the outside. This really does kind of feel like paper on the outside. You don't want it shiny or anything like that on this side. So you put the sticky side down onto, this is just wax paper that I have on here. And I usually, when I did it before to make it for the album, I put a whole bunch of it down next to each other. I just left little spaces in between, and then I just cut them apart. But I'm just going to show you one for the purposes of doing this video so you don't have to wait forever. And then I just am using white glue. And then I take just a tiny bit of water when I'm doing this on this tape because you don't want to lose all your sticky in your tape. And so I just wet it enough to make the glue a little bit, you know, less thick. So I'm just putting some drops right from my water. I just have a glass jar of water and a paintbrush. And so I'm just thinning it down a little bit. I don't want to add a whole bunch of water because then it'll be going over the sides, and like I said, it could make your glue or your tape less sticky. So then I just do a little bit, so I'm just wiping some off of my brush. And I just do a coat on top, and I try to keep it as much on the tape as possible because again, I don't want that water under the tape and making the tape not stick anymore. So I'm just putting it all over the top. And you may in the end up with spots that don't have the napkin on them. See here on this one, but I could ink that a little bit and I think that it would come out just fine. So just put the glue on there, and then this is a piece of a napkin, and it's just the top layer, and there's a lot of videos, and I'm sure all of you have seen them. You can just peel, there's usually either 2 or 3 layers on these paper napkins, and you just want the top layer that has the picture. And so you just place that right over it. It's just, you know, regular old decoupage type method. It's nothing earth shaking. And then I have another one here that's kind of like a door handle there and shutters. It's kind of cool, so I want to put that one on here too. I think I'm going to rip it right here though, because I just want it to meet up with this one. And it's okay if you have some overlap. You can just put a little bit of glue under there. And there's a little bit at the top there, which you couldn't see very well, but I just tore this and put it up here. In the end, it's not going to make a huge difference how you put the stuff on here, because you're only going to get like little snippets once you know, get the width of the tape. You're not going to see the entire image regardless, unless you have some really tiny images. I'm going to put some right underneath that flap so that it'll glue down. And you're just going over the top, and you just want to be kind of sparing with that glue again, so that you don't end up, you know, with a mess and the tape won't stick and all that. So you're really just trying to get it right on top of that paper tape. I didn't have any trouble with mine, so I don't think it's a huge issue. I just think if you got it sopping wet, it wouldn't work very well. So just try to keep it as dry as possible. So that's just all I did. I let it dry completely, and I know that is just kind of a mess, but it turns out fine. And so once I was all done, I cut, you know, just right around the edges to cut off all that extra napkin. And I think it came out pretty cool, because you can just tear it like, oh, my napkin was coming off that end. I didn't get enough glue. But you can just take it off and you can tear it just like washi tape. So, and again, I know this isn't a novel idea. I'm sure somebody else has done this. I'm just saying it works. I thought it worked really well. I've seen people stamp them and other stuff. I had trouble stamping mine. It's like this tape for some reason, no matter what kind of stamp pad that I have, maybe I just don't have the right kind, it wouldn't really take the image very well. It seemed really muted, like it doesn't come out as dark as you would want it to be able to see it for a washi tape. So I liked the napkin idea, and I think I've seen people do like tissue paper and things like that, but I mean, you can use anything that's thin, I think would work great. So just an idea. I hope you guys have a great day. Please subscribe.